welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be updating my Pan That and Pan in Every palette series. I will leave my playlist down below. This is my second update and I feel like I have a pretty exciting update. So I'm going to start with the Pan That palette section and then we'll go into the two palettes I was working on in February and I will give you those updates. But the Pan That palette, I'm working on my Sultry palette from ABH, one of my favorite palettes. Really sad it's discontinued. I will say that forever. But I did keep track of all the shades I used in here. I'm going to put up some side-by-side comparisons here. And this is what my palette looks like. So quite a bit of pan. I don't have any new pans and I didn't finish any shades yet. I certainly am close on a couple, I think, though. So let's talk through these. The first one here is Pearl. I have like the smallest amount left. Honestly, I've used it 15 times this month since the last update. So that's pretty good, I would say. I'm using it as an inner corner highlight predominantly. I'm sure if I used it, I don't know, like 4 or 5 times all over the lid, it'd be gone, but I really like it as an inner corner highlight. I would like to get it done by the next update though. That would be okay with me, and then I can pull in a different inner corner highlight to work on. Next is Steampunk, the kind of antique gold. I used this 6 times. I do think that the pan has expanded a little bit. Really like this shade. I also use this on my lower lash line a lot. I really like it down there. It offers a little bit of depth, but also a little bit of shimmer. It's like it's perfect happy medium. Next is Rose Quartz. I used Rose Quartz 7 times, including my look today. And I thought for sure I was going to hit pan and not quite. I really think I'm 2-3 uses away, like it's right around the corner. So this should be coming soon and I should have pan in it by next time. But yeah, 7 uses is pretty good. So I had another pink eyeshadow I was working on as well, but I really love that shade. Ember is the shade I'm using to deepen up my outer third. I use this 7 times. I'm still pretty far from pan, but when I do a neutral look that I want to have a little bit of a deeper like outer third, that is the shade that I go to. Birch, I only used 3 times this month. I have another transition shade I'm using in one of the other palettes, so I will talk about that in a moment. But this was my go-to transition shade last month, so I thought I'd mention that. Then down here, we've got Cinder. Didn't use Cinder at all. Teak, I did end up using, I'm sorry, that's Twig. Twig, I ended up using 6 times. I did use it with the other crease shade a number of times, and also I think once or twice on its own. It's a nice cool toned brown, whereas Birch is a little bit more warmer. So I like them paired together, but I also like them separate. Teak, 0 uses. Dystopian, 0 uses. I used Cyborg once, which is that shimmery silver, really fun. And then I didn't use Noir at all. These two, like the dark brown and black, I probably won't use super frequently. I'd like to keep them in a palette. I don't want to declutter them like I did with these shades, just because, you know, if I'm traveling and this is the palette I have with me, I'd like to be able to do a liner, but they're not going to be things I'm really focusing on. So nothing new here as far as pans are finishing, but I really think I can have Pearl finished and pan in Rose Quartz by next update. That's going to be the goal I'm setting for myself, but I did use it a number of times. A lot of, you know, strong use in here. So still loving the palette, not tired of it, probably never will be tired of it. Okay, let's talk about the 2 palettes that I have been working on. So the first one is my ABH Quad. So last time I was super close to hitting pan on the shade Ballet, and I did hit pan. So there's that. And it only took me 1 more use. After last update, I used it the next day and boom, I had pan. So if I would have just waited 1 day to film it, but that's okay. I did use it a couple more times after that because I really like that pink shade. And then when I had a decent, you know, size pan in here, I decided I would go to Rose Quartz in my Sultry palette for any pink like lid looks I wanted to do. So very happy that I have pan in here. I am going to be rolling this little quad out and we will replace it with another palette. The other palette that I've been working on is my Natasha Denona mini retro palette, so the little 5-pan. And I'm working on 2 different shades in here. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know which one I'm gonna hit pan on, but I've been using 2 pretty regularly, and that is Galaxia right here and Vintage Taupe right here. So I have a super high impact shimmery shade, and then a matte kind of transition shade is what Vintage Taupe is for me. So for Galaxia, I used it 10 times. I usually pack it all over the lid. It's got this really unique shift to it. So it's like this kind of like golden shade, but then if it hits the right light, it almost has a green shift to the shimmer. It's really, really pretty. So I've been using this all over the lid. Sometimes that's it, like it's a great just one shadow look, or I'll do this with Vintage Taupe in the crease or a different crease shade, but it works really, really well. It's super high impact shine, hopefully. Maybe you guys can pick up on a little bit of that green shift, but it's beautiful. I really, really like it. It's kind of crumbly in the pan though, so I have to be careful with it. And it definitely like needs to be packed quite a bit, like foiled even sometimes. So this one I used 10 times, and you know, I have a little bit of a dip in there. I am nowhere near pan, I don't think. I really don't know how deep these go. I've never used up or like hit pan on Natasha Denona shades before, but I plan to keep using it. It's a great neutral. Like if I don't know what to do or I'm just pressed for time, this is what I'm gonna go for. And then I've also been using Vintage Taupe 13 times since the last update. And this is like a rosy, you know, matte transition shade for me. I think it's beautiful, like a rosy brown. It's right there. So these 2 pair together nicely. This pairs nicely just with other shades. I've been using it quite a bit. I mean, I can see where my brush hits the pan, but we're not close to hitting pan. So this one's gonna be in for the long haul, I think, but it's a beautiful spring palette. I mean, there's a pink in here too. I do like the greens. They're not as like, I don't know, rotated throughout my eye looks as frequently, but I do like them. So I think that this one's gonna be in for a few months though. It's just really, really densely packed. So, you know, it is what it is, but this is definitely staying in, and we'll just keep tracking the progress. Okay, so before we roll in a new eyeshadow palette, I wanted to grab my notes here. I did hit pan in, let's see here. So last update, I had a pan percentage of 15%. I had 120 eyeshadows in my collection, and I had pan on 18 of them. And I hit pan in 2 more eyeshadows this month, and I finished up an eyeshadow. It's been crazy. So I now have 119 eyeshadows in my collection because I finished one, and then I hit pan on 19 of those. So my new pan percentage is 15.96%. So almost up a full percent in a month, which is wild. That number is definitely going to be all over the place. My goal is 20%, but we'll see if I can even get there. But it's been a fun month. So that is something I wanted to share with you. And now we're going to roll in a new palette. So I have 4 eligible eyeshadow palettes to roll from. So I'm going to go 1 through 4. And let me clear my history in here. Okay, so we're going to just roll this in quickly. We got number 2, which is going to be, let's see here. Ooh, my Norvina palette. Okay, so my Norvina palette is new to me. I got it in December, so I've just had it a couple of months. I think the color story is gorgeous. You know, lots of purples, lots of pinks. There's also some really nice, like, warm, kind of like crease shades down here. So I think that this is going to be a lot of fun. Now, an easy shade I could totally hit pan on is Base, which is just that cream matte type of a shade that I can use to set down, you know, any sort of primer. But I think I'm going to actually save that for my project pan and, you know, work on it another time because I'm working on finishing an eyeshadow in the similar color. So I'm not going to double dip there. So when I think about, you know, the shade that I already have, I would naturally be drawn towards Dreamer, Summer, or Dazzling just because they're neutral kind of like lid shades. But because I already have a neutral lid shade, I think it would be good for me to pick something different. So what I think I might do is focus in on maybe some of these mattes down here. These could be nice in the transition and the crease. Love is a beautiful kind of like purpley pink shade. This one reminds me of Birch quite a bit, so I'm not sure if I'd pull for that, but I think that Passion is really pretty too. So those are some options. The other thing that kind of brings my attention is to use Dreamer here, which is a shade that I have already hit pan on in my Soft Glam 2 palette. But this could be a nice inner corner shade. It is a little bit more golden though. So Pearl is a lot like icier and cool toned. This has still got that high impact shine, but it's a little bit warmer. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the perfect fit or not, but I think I can make it work. Okay, so I have a few more swatches here. Up here at the top, kind of this copper shade is Dazzling. And then I got Wild Child and Celestial. Wild Child is the pink and Celestial is the purple. There's so many good options in here. I do think that this one will be in for a couple of months. So what I might do for the first month is just kind of explore throughout this palette. It is still new to me, so I don't know it very well. And just kind of see what naturally feels like it's fitting. You know, I would like to use this palette. I think that there's some good combinations, but then also in the Sultry palette, like thinking about Rose Quartz in here, I think some of the purple and pink mattes would be pretty to, you know, use in the crease. It's just that mattes usually take a lot longer to hit pan on. So I don't know what is going to be the shade that I, you know, end up hitting pan on yet. I think for the first month, I'm just going to explore a little bit, and then we will see if there's anything that's really drawing me or a combination that I find to be really helpful with the other shades. It's just, I don't know, there's so many good options here. I'm kind of like, in a positive way, overwhelmed. Even like Summer here is really similar to Steampunk. Yeah, those are really similar. So, you know, it's like, do you want to dupe shades when you're working on them in another palette? I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but this is the new palette that I'm rolling in. So I've got my Mini Retro, my Norvina, and then my Sultry palette that I'm going to be working on. The goal in the Norvina is just to hit pan in one eyeshadow, and the same with the Mini Retro, but of course I'm free to use all the shades. I'm just trying to hit pan in one shade each though. So that is going to be it for my update. What shade would you be focusing on from the Norvina palette? Let me know down below in the comment section. But that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.